We're on page 151 in grammar, so go ahead and turn to page 151. Let's see. (151). So it's crazy. I can't believe how fast this part of the year goes. It always does. But anyway, we have 5 classes left. So if we don't count today's class, that's 4. So we only have 4 classes left after today. And then it's summer. And I don't know if you guys signed up for summer classes, but if you're interested, I know that's probably not the first thing you want to do on summer vacation, but anyway, and then I will offer the classes again next year. So hopefully I can offer in person too, because I know that I think you guys, Bronx, you're not in Tehachapi though, you're in Ridgecrest, right? You are in Tehachapi. No, I'm asking too many questions. Ridgecrest?
Yeah, I'm a Ridgecrest, not
okay. That's what I thought. Okay, I was confused for a second. But I do want to start offering in-person classes next year. So Paisley, hopefully if you want to take it again, that would be better in person. So, and then you know what, Bronx, if you guys want to drive to Tehachapi, I would love to see you in person. So, but I'm still offering on Zoom too. All right, aside from that, let's get started. We're talking about adjectives today. So in week 3, week 3, you learned that an adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. We already know that. That's pretty easy. Often 2 or more adjectives come before a noun. In week 25, you learned that adjectives are coordinate if each adjective independently describes the noun that follows. Because the order of the coordinate adjectives is not important, the adjectives are separated with a comma. And so today you're going to learn about a new type of adjective called cumulative. And it is if the first adjective describes the second adjective and the noun that follows. And so it says cumulative adjectives follow this specific order. It says quantity, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. Okay, I'm going to have you write a little note here because this is new to you. And I think this video that I'm about to show you is going to help you. I want you to underline that word quantity, and I want you to write the word determiner underneath it. Wait, sorry, I'm having a hard time spelling. Hang on. Determiner. And then I also want you to write the word. It's actually an acronym. It's not a word. I'm going to have you write DOS ASCOMP. Dosascomp. Yep, dosascomp. Don't worry, it's not a real word. It's a made-up word. And it's a word that's going to help you remember the order that these adjectives go in. So each letter in dosascomp stands for, the D stands for determiner, because we're going to use that instead of, well, quantity, determiner, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. Each one of those words is part of dosascomp. All right, so here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to share this video with you. Let me make sure I got it queued up here. And it's kind of I think it's 5 minutes, so it's kind of long, but it's really, really good. And I think it's really going to help you understand. So just chill out for a minute and we'll watch this video. It's from Khan Academy, if you're familiar with that. It's a great resource for videos on stuff.
So, grammarians, if you're a native English speaker, the phrase French old white house might seem a little weird to you. If you're not a native English speaker, it might not. And this is something that I didn't really know about before I started preparing to teach this course, is that there is a specific order that adjectives go in English. This is something that I think we just pick up as English speakers. But if you didn't grow up speaking English, it gets a little tricky sometimes.
Can you guys hear it okay?
So the question is, in order to make this seem right, what order do you put these adjectives in? As near about as I can reckon it, making this into the old white French house. Because there is an order and it goes like this. Determiner, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. Or for short, dosascomp. Dosascomp. Oh, okay. That's actually kind of a thing. So a dosa is a South Indian flatbread, and scomp, I'm gonna say, is a word for eating. It's not a word, that's a made-up word, but dosascomp. It sounds like scarf to me. Or chomp. And both of those are verbs that can denote eating, as well as scarf being a garment. So, dosascomp. I just want you to imagine sitting down to a delicious South Indian meal and scomping on some dosas. So, dosascomp. Determiner, and that's words like the or an. Opinion, this is, when you're describing something, there are certain descriptors that not everyone would agree with, So if you're looking at a piece of black metal, everyone will be able to agree that it is black. But if you think it's cool looking or ugly looking, anything that anyone could conceivably disagree about, that's an opinion. So, cool, for example, that would be an opinion. Size, so the cool, big, old, square, black. And origin usually can be, where it's from. So let's say Texan, and then, okay, so we have material, so let's say leather, because leather can be black, and then purpose. This is sort of where we would use what's called a participle or a gerundive to determine what the thing is for. So if we were talking about, I don't know, a lawnmower that you ride around on, right? That's called a riding mower. Right, and the last thing here is the thing itself. So we're looking at, okay, so this thing is the cool, big, old, square, black Texan leather riding mower. But frankly, in most normal English sentences, you're probably never going to use more than 3 adjectives to describe a given thing, like old white French house. Now, sometimes you might find yourself using more than one adjective that fits into the same category. So you might say the exciting, unparalleled green dragon. And you'll notice I put a comma there, because when you use 2 adjectives from the same category, so 2 opinions, the exciting and unparalleled, you want to separate them with a comma. But generally, if you're just scooting down the dosascomp, old white French house, you don't need to separate these non-coordinate adjectives from each other. And we'll get more into commas in the punctuation section. But for now, all you need to remember is dosascomp. And if you've never had a dosa, I strongly urge you to look up recipes online, go to a South Indian restaurant, and make and eat this delicious food. And then you're just going to scomp on some dosas. So determiner, opinion, size, age, dosa, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, and then the thing. That's the order that adjectives go in English. Why is this? I have no idea. Sometimes language can be really The word I tend to use is arbitrary. You can call it random if you like. This is just the way that we've arrived at this order is just basically through random chance and convention, and what seems to sound right. And what sounds right for English isn't always what sounds right for other languages. For example, the way we're using adjectives here, we're always putting them to the left of whatever they modify. The exciting paralleled green dragon, it's all to the left. It's all old white French house. It's all, on this one side of it. And other languages don't do that necessarily. So when you're trying to just throw a bunch of adjectives together on the left side of a noun, this is the order. Just remember, dosaskamp. And that's how adjective order works in English. You can learn anything. David out.
Okay. So that was that. And hopefully that kind of gives you a little more visual and a different way of explaining what the adjectives, the order of the adjectives that they are supposed to go in English on when it is a cumulative adjective. So it's different from coordinate. So here are some comma rules. Because cumulative adjectives must be arranged in a specific order, the adjectives are not separated with a comma. So you do not use commas to separate cumulative adjectives. That's what he just talked about too. 2 tests to help determine whether the adjectives before a noun are coordinate or cumulative. Can you reverse the order, and can you add and between them? If you answer yes to the adjectives are coordinate, use a comma. So if you can switch the order, we talked about this last week, I think, or the week before. And if you can put and between them, then it's usually a coordinate adjective. If you answer no to the adjectives, if you answer no to those questions, the adjectives are cumulative. Do not use a comma. Here's an example. They entered the immense green forest. The 2 adjectives immense and green describe the noun forest. They are coordinate. Are they coordinate adjectives? Do they need a comma? Can you reverse the order? The green immense forest. No, you cannot reverse the order because size comes before color. So that doesn't sound right if you say green immense forest. Immense green forest makes more sense. Okay, and then can you add and between the adjectives immense and green forest? No, that doesn't sound right either. So this is cumulative, and you do not need a comma. They entered the immense green forest. And they are cumulatives. They are not separated with a comma. Okay, so here's how you would fix it in this book for your homework. Remove the comma between cumulative adjectives. So here, Marion was a brave young maiden. Brave and young are cumulative. Brave tells an opinion, right? And then young tells the age. Remember dosaskamp. Determiner, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. Okay, so no comma there. Go ahead and turn to the back of this page on page 152. There's a little bit more on that page. Okay. And it says adjectives can be grouped into categories. Here's your categories. And next to quantity, I want you to put determiner. Just because it helps with memorizing that, it is also the same as quantity. That is telling what number. And then you've got, go ahead and circle the D in determiner, and then just circle the first letters of each one of these. And then write dosaskamp. Dosaskamp is going to help you. That's this order right here. Instead of quantity, we're calling it determiner. So determiner, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. And then here's some examples for each one of those categories. And it says cumulative adjectives build on each other. Robin was a skilled English archer. He practiced with several proficient young men. If someone said he practiced with young proficient several men, your ear would tell you that that was wrong. Doesn't sound right. That is why the tests work. We have been trained to hear and say adjectives in a certain order, and if you try to rearrange the order of the adjectives, it sounds awkward. Robin was a skilled English archer. Skilled comes before English because opinion comes before origin. He practiced with several proficient young men. Quantity comes before opinion, and opinion comes before age. They shot long wooden arrows. Size comes before material. They aimed at a circular bullseye target. Shape comes before purpose. I bet you didn't really know it, that's how it is, because I didn't know that, when before I started teaching this class. But it is kind of a natural thing that we do. So this is just putting a label to it. So now you know what it is, cumulative. All right, do you guys have any questions so far about the lesson? Any questions? No? Okay, so let's turn to the practice page here. And then Bronx, if you don't mind reading that.
Robin instructed, we will certainly to make, what is that word?
It's astutely. That's a weird word. We don't use that very often. Astutely.
Make a target for smooth white bark. From smooth white bark, which measured 4 fingers in height and 5 fingers in width.
Weird sentence, really weird sentence. Astutely. Let's just see what Google says about that as far as the definition here. E-L-Y, astutely. Astutely. Oh, hold on. Now let's try this. What does astutely mean? Interesting. It's talking about family history, so that's not what we're looking for. And I don't see a definition for it. Robin instructed will astutely. Oh, it's because it's a name. Hello. Will is the first name. Astutely is the last name. I was confused myself there. Let's just, start with this because Will is a name. We're going to capitalize that. Will astutely. All right. We also need to capitalize that. We might as well do that. Now, we know the vocabulary word is instructed, which means to teach. The articles are a and the. Go ahead, there's only one. It's right here, AR. All right, 8 nouns, Paisley, 8. Where are the 8 nouns?
Robin.
Yes.
Will astutely.
Yes.
Target.
Yes.
Bark.
Good.
Finger.
Fingers and fingers. Yes, very good.
There's still 2.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, there's 2 more. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yep. It's height and width. Those are actually nouns. They're telling a type of measurement or what they're measuring. Okay, good. And then adjectives, Bronx.
Smooth,
Yes,
white,
yes,
4.
Yes, but we do need to fix that and write the actual word for, and then put adjective there, but you're right, for, and then what else?
5.
Yep. And we gotta do the same thing there too. Right, 5 and then adjective above that. Okay, good. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Coordinating conjunctions, that's fanboys, Paisley, there's only one. Remember the conjunction?
And
Yes, good. So CC for that. Since that was so short, Paisley, I'm happy to do, we're gonna skip prepositional phrases, just because that's the way I like to do it. So Paisley, I'm gonna have you go on to who, which clause, where's that?
which measured 4 fingers in height.
And you're gonna keep going.
And 5 fingers in width.
Yes, that's the whole clause. So we're gonna put W/W for that. Good. Back to Bronx. How about the main clause? We already found the who, which clause. So where's the main clause? Oh, you're on mute. It's for you, Bronx. There you go.
Oh, all right. Robin and barked.
Yeah, so the whole main clause is that whole first part.
Okay.
All the way to bark. Yep, you're right. So I put brackets around that. Okay, good. That's the main clause. Subject verb pairs. So Bronx, I'm gonna have you do the verbs, and then Paisley will do the subject. So where are the verbs, Bronx?
Robin.
No, that's a noun. We already labeled that one. So we're
Oh.
looking for action. Yeah.
Instructed.
Yes, there you go. That's a verb.
Measured.
Yep, good. Just those two. So Paisley, who instructed? Who's the subject in that clause?
5 times, I think. Robin.
Yes, good. And then for this which clause, who, which clause, what's the subject for measured? The tricky one. So in a who, which clause, it's actually who or which is the subject. Okay, so this would be the subject. I'm just gonna write it above that. So which becomes the subject of the sentence, of that part of the sentence anyway. All right, so back to Bronx, we have an opener here. So looking at the very beginning of the sentence, what kind of an opener do you think that is? Sorry for my doggy in the background. Make sure to unmute Bronx.
I keep doing that.
That's all right.
All right. 1, I believe.
It is one. Do you remember what that one's called?
Subject.
Yes, excellent. Because it starts with the subject Robin. So yes, that's a subject opener. Nice. By the way, it says indent here. We're under fix it. Oh, no, we got to do prepositional phrases. I almost forgot. So I'm going to have you guys, there's 3 of them. I'll have Bronx do 1 of them and then Paisley do 2 of them. So where is one of the prepositional phrases, Bronx? I'll give you a clue. Because you're going to look for a word that does not have a label yet, with nothing on top of it. And it's not this part, to make a target. It's not there. So it's going to be down here somewhere. There's
In
yes. So what's the whole phrase?
in height.
Good. Yes. In height. Excellent. So what's another one, Paisley?
From a smooth white bark.
From, did you start with the word from?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. From smooth white bark. And then there's one more.
In width.
Yes, there you go. Excellent. In width. I was looking for a note here to explain why to make a target is not a prepositional phrase, because to is a preposition. But in this sentence, because it says Robin instructed Will Stutely to make a target, it's more of an action here. That's what he instructed him to do, to make a target. So this is not a prepositional phrase. Besides, it has a verb in it, and a prepositional phrase does not have a verb. So make is another verb, even though we didn't label that, to make a target. And here, in height and in width and from smooth white bark, those are prepositional phrases. I don't know why make is not labeled as a verb. I gotta think about that one, because it seems like it should be to make. The verb here is instructed. We got that. That is, oh, that's because that's what he instructed, to make a target. Yeah, that's probably how they would explain it, to make a target. Yeah, sometimes grammar makes my head spin, as you know. So anyway, indent, we're going to put a paragraph symbol here because you're going to indent when you go to write it. Make sure you start over a little bit. Capitals we already got. All right, we have a comma rule. Smooth white bark. This is dosa scomp, okay? This is cumulative because we're talking about the smooth is the that would be the determiner, smooth. And then white is the color. All right, so we do not need a comma here. We're going to do a little squiggly line to take out that comma between smooth and white. In mark is period. And then we already fixed the two numbers, 4 and 5. So we got that. All right, dosa scomp, that's the new word of the day. So that'll help you on your homework. Any questions about anything today for grammar? No? Okay, moving on. Let's go on to writing. There's a little bit longer lesson. That's all right. All right, so now I need you to get out all your stuff for coconut crabs. Remember we started that. So you're going to get out your actual articles or source texts. Should be at the front of your binder or work in process, wherever you like to keep yours. And we made notes in the margin. I just wrote mine in blue ink so you can hopefully see it a little bit better there. You're going to need that. You're also going to need this page that we started before spring break, March 28th. And we just kind of labeled that paper and then we ran out of time. So that was all we got to do. So try to find this one. And so the first step for today is going to be looking at the possible topics. Now, just to refresh your memory, we read all 3 of these source texts here. We made little notes in the margin on each paragraph, basically telling us what each paragraph was mostly about, just to give us some topic ideas. So what we're learning in this unit is how to take multiple sources. On this one, we have 3 and lots of different topics, and we have to narrow it down to how many topics are we doing? Let me check. How many are we doing? I think we're doing 3, but let me double check here. And I can tell by the checklist. Here it is. Oh, good news. We're only doing 2. Woohoo! So 2 topics only for this report. And remember, the topics are the paragraphs. So for this report about coconut crabs, you're only writing 2 paragraphs. Ultimately, that's your end plan. So eventually we're going to do 3 paragraphs, and then eventually we're going to do a 5 paragraph. But for today, for this week, it's 2. All right, so we've got these sources. We've got lots of different topics. First thing we need to do is make a list of the topics. So let's go ahead and put coconut crab underneath this so we can remember coconut crabs. That's what we're talking about. All right, now we have 3 sources. So we're going to make a little chart here underneath this. I'm going to have you just do A, and then kind of near the middle, B, and then C, like that. A represents source text A, B represents source text B, C represents source text C. Looking back, and you're going to have to flip through some papers to make this list. But looking back on the first one, source text A called the coconut crab, in the first paragraph, you should have body and habitat. So go ahead and put body and then skip a line and habitat. These are possible topics, okay? So we're going to jot down all the ones that we found. And if yours looks any different than mine, tell me that, because I can't remember some of the classes we decided different words. But paragraph 2 on the coconut crab, which is source text A, we made a note for strength and diet. So go ahead and write those down. Strength and diet. Looking at just source text A, on the back, we have humans and crabs. Is that what you guys have on yours? Humans and crabs? What do you have, Bronx?
I wasn't here. I wasn't
Oh,
there last week.
yeah. Did you get a chance to watch the video or not yet?
No.
Oh, yeah, you'll probably need to, because you're going to be a little confused here. But anyway, you can just write down what I have. How about you, Paisley? What do you have on the back paragraph of the coconut crab?
Okay.
Yeah, you can just watch. So Paisley, what do you have there? This is page 120 on the back of that source text 1. I wanted to know, what notes do you have in the margin of your paragraph right there?
Man and crab.
Say it again.
The same thing.
Same thing? Okay, humans, and then we have crabs. So let's put humans. So Bronx, let me just catch you up for a second, since I forgot that you weren't there right before spring break. So basically you're going to see, maybe you got them out already, but there's 3 source texts about crabs. Did you find those in your binder? Okay. And then what we did the week before spring break is read all of them. And then that's what we wrote in the margin, was what the paragraph was mostly about: their bodies and their habitats. So you might want to write those down on yours. Maybe you already did. And then the second paragraph here was all about their strength and their diet. So that's what we did. We read the paragraphs and we jotted down in the margin note on what they were about. You got that? And then on the back of that, This last paragraph was mostly about humans and crabs. Okay, so what we did now is take from source text A and make a list of all the possible topics that we found in that source text. Now we're going to look at source text B, this one. This is page 121. This one's called Coconut Crabs in Print and on the Web. You really should watch that video, Bronx, because I go into details about how to write a report using different texts. It'll help you understand it better. So basically, we did the same thing for this text. We read the whole thing, and then we made notes in the margin. So this paragraph here is about body and habitat. So on your list here, we're going to put body and habitat. I'll slow down if you need me to. Just tell me if I need to slow down, okay? The next paragraph on source text B, which is page 121, is all about diet and behavior. That's this paragraph down here, diet and behavior. So I'm going to write diet and behavior. You guys good so far? Okay. On the back of that page, there's a little bit more of this. I'm looking at page 122 now. We have on this paragraph, we labeled it humans endangered. Hopefully you can see that okay. Humans and endangered. And then this last paragraph was humans. I'm on page 122 on the back of source text B, okay, guys? So I have humans and endangered, and then humans. So what I'm doing is transferring that information now on this list. So now I'm going to write here, humans, and then the word endangered. I don't need to write humans again because I already have it on here under source text B. Give me a thumbs up if you know what we're doing. You understand. You guys understand what's going on right now? Okay, good. So we're just looking back on our notes because I know it was a couple weeks ago. So that's everything for source text B. Now we're going to look at source text C, which is called, hold on, where is it at? A huge crustacean. This one, this is page 123. A huge crustacean is the name of this text. Okay, in the first paragraph, because we already read it, I'm not going to take time to read it all right now, but this paragraph was mostly about diet and behavior. You probably see a common theme now because we've mentioned that already, but under C, we're going to put diet and behavior. That was from paragraph 1 on this is page 123. So the next paragraph talks mostly about their body and behavior. But guess what? Since we already have behavior on our list here for C, I'm not going to write it twice, but I am going to write that word body. So go ahead and put body on here. And this is all about the coconut crabs. Oops, here we go. It was like that. There we go. That's better. Okay, going back to source text C, there's more paragraphs on the back. One more. This whole paragraph on the back was mostly about endangered. This is page 124. Endangered. How they're endangered. So I'm going to put endangered here. Okay, let me just recap really quick. You have, this is all about coconut crabs. This is your report. You're doing a report on coconut crabs. In your report, you're looking for different sources. We talked about how when you, this is actually considered a research paper, even though you didn't do the research. The research was pretty much already done for you in this binder. But this is considered a research paper. I keep saying report, but I really mean research. So these 3 texts, you can just kind of pretend in your head that one of them came from online, and one of them came from a book at the library, and one of them came from a magazine article or something like that. So you've got 3 different sources. We read through all 3 of those. We looked for possible topics. Topics are the paragraphs, the content in each paragraph. Because remember way back when we talked about the subject is the big thing you're writing about. And then the topics are each paragraph. It's supporting that subject. Okay, so now here we have our notes from your sources. Source A, these are the things it talked about. Source B, these are the things that source B talked about. Source C, those are the things source C talked about. Now we're going to look for common words. Like body, for instance. So go ahead and circle body. And notice in text B, we have body. And in source text C, we have body. So basically, that is common. That is a common thread between all 3 of those texts. So I want you to just draw a line between these. They're connected. So each one of those source texts talks about their bodies. This is the coconut crab. What is another word that you see in all 3 resources? If you see it, go ahead and raise your hand. Bronx.
Diet.
Diet, good. So we're going to do the same thing here. Circle diet, 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 and go ahead and draw your connecting lines. That's a good one. And those are the 2 main ones that are in all 3. Now I do see humans on 2 of them here. I see endangered, endangered. There's habitat in 2 of them. And so since we only really need to come up with 2 topics, that's pretty easy. We've got body and diet is throughout each. So we're just going to leave it like that. Okay, now, and I don't think you have this, Bronx, because you haven't seen my video yet, but hopefully I think Paisley does. Remember before spring break, we got that big paper out from the front of the binder, and then we made this outline here. Whoops, let me zoom out. It's too big to put in my whole screen. But Bronx, in the front of your binder, or it could be in the back, you have these big white pieces of paper. Do you see where those are at in your binder?
Where at? Like,
So in the pocket, actually, of the binder itself. It should be like in the pocket. And it looks like this. It looks like it's just like folded in half. So look in the front pocket or the back pocket of your binder. See if you see big paper in there.
nothing.
No, nothing? Uh-oh. Okay. Do you have yours, Paisley? Yeah. So, yeah, Bronx, you missed a lot before spring break. So make sure you watch that video. But if you don't have this paper, You can use a lined piece of paper. What I would do, I'll show you really quick, because I don't want you to be too lost right now. Basically, you're gonna take A, B, and C. You see how I have that at the top, A, and then a little outline, B, and then an outline, and then C, and an outline. That represents source text A, source text B, and source text C. So on a lined piece of paper, you can set that up this way. If you turn your page, let's see, like sideways like this, with the holes at the bottom there, you can do the same thing on a lined piece. It's a little more scrunched, but just go ahead and set it up like this, where you have A, B, and C.
Okay.
Okay, and then underneath each one of those, you're just going to do 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 are in parentheses. So I'm just going to have you set this up kind of fast, because the other, well, Paisley and Abby both, I know, already have theirs done. So like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then in the middle down below, you're going to write that word fused. And this one's going to have, I'm sorry, I forgot to have you do a Roman numeral 1. Shoot, I'm sorry, Bronx. I hope I didn't mess you up. So it should be Roman numeral 1 on each of these, A, B, and C. So you have Roman numeral 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roman numeral 1 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roman numeral 1 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Roman numeral 1 again. And this one's going to have 7. Okay. All right, so now you can keep copying that, Bronx. Paisley, you have yours ready. So looking at your possible topics, let's start with body. We're going to write about the body of the coconut crab first. So guess what? This whole keyword outline right here, this whole one, A, B, C, and fused, all of that is going to be only about the body. So for Paisley on your paper, because you have a lot more room on yours, all of yours is going to be about the body. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to start this. Looking at source text 1. Go back to that. See what time we got. Okay. Source text A, called the coconut crab. That's on page 119. Pull that out again. It should be on your table. Notice paragraph 1 talks about the body. Now, this is where we're going to pull information from that paragraph under A. This is what Bronx's looks like. This is what Paisley's looks like. Under A, we're going to start making keyword outline, a keyword outline from that paragraph. And Bronx, I'm going to use this page because this is what the other two girls have, but you use yours. Okay, so I'm just going to switch it out there for a second. So we're writing about coconut crab. So the first thing we can do is come up with a symbol for coconut crab. And I'm thinking it would be easy to just call it CC, coconut crab. So for Roman numeral 1 here, I'm just going to put CC, and that stands for coconut crab. We can remember that, right? We can put a circle around it. Coconut crab. Looking at source text A, paragraph 1, it talks about coconut crabs are the largest land-dwelling crustaceans on Earth. So we're talking about their body in that first paragraph. I'm just going to put body large. And we can have one more word here. I'm going to put crustaceans. It's a big word, crustaceans. You guys with me? You understand what's going on? Okay, you just interrupt me if you get confused and you're lost or something. I don't want to go too fast. All right, it talks about where they live. They live on islands. Remember, we're focusing on the body. This whole first paragraph is only going to focus on the body. So I'm not going to mention anything about where they live yet. With a exoskeleton, a hard skeleton on the outside of its body, this brightly colored creature walks on many jointed legs and has 2 pairs of antennae, I think is how you say that plurally. Okay, so that's talking a lot about the body. It's calling it an exoskeleton. You guys know that's the hard shell on the outside. That's the other explanation for crustaceans. So I'm going to say skeleton on the outside. Outside. And I'm going to mention 2 antennae. Antennae. Tennae from that paragraph. I also like the detail about how it's brightly colored. I think that's interesting. So for number 2, I'm going to put brightly and colored. Now, remember, guys, the rules still stay as far as how to make these outlines using only 2 or 3 words per line. You can use symbols, numbers, and abbreviations for free. And you're focusing only on their bodies. So I'm talking about what physically about their bodies. Now I'm just going to leave brightly colored with just 2 words. And I'm going to move on to what else it says here. It says weighing up to 9 pounds. By the way, I want to remind you too, you might pick different facts in here. We're doing this together. So A is going to probably look the same, but when you go to do your homework and you work on B and C, you're going to look for what you think is interesting about their bodies, only about their bodies, not their habitat, not their diet, not where they are found, not any of those other things. You're focusing only on the body for this part. Up to 9 pounds, 4 kilograms. The span of these crabs' legs can reach 3 feet or 1 meter. So I might say something about 9 pounds. We can do 9 and then lbs for pounds. And then I'm going to put legs, 3 ft for feet. And it says that is a lot of crab meat, similar to hermit crabs. Coconut crabs live many years, 60 or more. That's not really talking about their bodies. However, if kept underwater for more than an hour, coconut crabs use a primitive lung to breathe. That's interesting, and that is part of the body. So I'm going to put primitive lung breathe. Okay, so that's 4 and 5 are in parentheses because that's optional. You don't have to do 4 and 5, but if you find something else really interesting that you want to include in your report or your research paper, you can add. So I don't have anything for 5. I'm stopping there. So I've got this from the paragraph that talks about body in source text A. I'm not even going to worry about those other paragraphs because they're talking about excuse me, other things, okay? So we're only focusing on the body for source text A. So what you would do then is move on to source text B. I'm going to scoot this over. I need a new piece of plastic here. Source text B. We're going to look for the paragraph that talks about the body again for source text B. And that is going to be, let me find mine. I got too many things in front of me here. Coconut crabs in print and on the web. The first paragraph again talks about the body. Let me darken this a little bit. There we go. On the back is humans endangered and all that. So again, body is that first paragraph. So what you're going to do for your homework this week is just focus on that paragraph for source text B and finish your keyword outline for B. That lines up with source text B about the body only. Don't worry about diet, behavior, and all that. You're just going to focus on this paragraph and then look for interesting things that you read about their bodies and make a keyword outline. And then you can probably guess you're going to do that also for source text C about the body. You're only writing about the body. I know it sounds weird, but it's going to make sense. By the way, go ahead and write here CC again for coconut crab, body, and large. Just to remind you that all three of these are going to be about the body. And then for source text C, go ahead and put CC, body, large. And you might have one more word that you come up with for each one of those texts. Now, source text C, you look at that really quick. That one starts with diet and behavior. So you're not going to look at that first paragraph. You're going to go down here where it says body, find out some more information about their bodies, and put that in your keyword outline. So what I want you to do for homework this week is just fill in A, B, and C. We're going to do the fused one together next week. So you don't have to do the fused. Focus on finding information from source text A, which we already did together. Find information about the body in source text B, put it here. And find information about source text C about the body and put it there. Do you guys have any questions about the homework? No questions? Are you okay, Paisley? You understand? Okay. I know this is kind of new how we're doing this. Focus on the body of the crustacean or the coconut crabs. Do an outline for A, B, and C. Don't worry about the fused part. We'll do that together next week. Okay. Phew. I think we're out of time. Oh, my phone just died. Anybody know what time it is? Is it time to go?
It's 4:37. I'm at 4:47.
4:47. I was gonna say, dude, we have like 10 more minutes. Okay, never mind. All right, I guess we're done. But watch that video from last week or before spring break, Bronx, and then we'll move on to the fused next time. So you guys have a good one. I'll see you next week.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Paisley.